I'm told by historians that until the very late postmodern period, or some countries after the Enlightenment, there was no civilization on this planet that ever survived for any length of time without a strong appreciation for law, tradition, authority, structure, predictability, and order. You just have to have that, or you can't hold anything together. Any of you who are educators, are parents, you know that if you as parents, if your life is chaotic, if your emotions are chaotic and unpredictable, you tend to raise very unhappy children. And children need order, predictability, structure. They need to know what's coming, what they can expect, when mom is going to be home, and so forth. This is structured into the psyche. And as I think I've said here in previous years, we basically begin best conservative, with structure, tradition, order, symbols. They give you identity. They give you a place to stand. And we speak now in our country of identity politics. That because we're not doing this very well at all in our culture, we see people who haven't been able to do the first half of life run back and try to do the first half when they're in their 30s and their 40s. I remember I was jail chaplain in Albuquerque for 14 years, and you'd think as a priest I'd be all excited when one of the guys in jail would tell me that they found religion, you know. I usually wasn't. Because invariably, when a young man or young woman has sort of diffused and diluted their first 20, 25 years on drugs and sex and rock and roll, no tradition, no predictability, no order, nothing but chaos, there is such a desperate need for it that then when they find religion, it's always very rigid, very fundamentalist, very absolutist, very much either or. We even see this, I'm afraid, in some of our young clergy who were raised in a much less ordered time. I was born in 1943. My parents were married for 50 years. In Kansas, we hardly knew what divorce was. I mean, I grew up in a very structured world. And I've often said, in many ways, it in no way prepared me for what I'm doing now with my life. And on another level, brothers and sisters, it absolutely prepared me. Because once you do it, let me tell you something, you don't need to keep doing it anymore. Once you've met that need and the values have been internalized, it's not the external law, but it's what Isaiah or Jeremiah and Jesus call the law written in your heart. Once it's in here and you know the meaning of the law and the purpose of the law, you can see why someone like our Jesus talks in a most dangerous way. If you open to Matthew 7 times in a row, he says, the law says, I say. The law says, I say. The law says, I say. You can tell Jesus is a man in the second half of life. And yet, he begins that whole session by saying, don't get me wrong, I didn't come here to throw the law out, but I came to tell you what it's really about, what its real purpose is. And that's what I hope we can somehow do today.